Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody just calm down!
This was the beginning of the end of the Lakers, Boston Celtics, Michael Jordan, and, well, Milwaukee Bucks, right? So let's think about this. Milwaukee Bucks owner, this young man, Wes Edens, actually bought the team from Herb Cole. If you don't know about Coles and all of that, it's all private equity owned and run. Michael Jordan, no different, made bets against private equity plays, which he actually got copped his pants down, for lack of a better term, when it came to GameStop. Got margin called, had to sell his team to Gabe Plotkin, who actually lost $5 billion against GameStop. And they all come from the Atlanta Hawks, believe it or not, Tony Resler, this private equity. These two are actually married to each other. She's from investment firms and private equity. This young man owns the Boston Celtics. I'm rolling in my grave right now if I'm Kobe, if I'm Dr. Jeanie Buss, because Jeanie Buss sold her team to private equity and Mark Walter. Mark Walter got his money from the Middle East. If you don't know, they just sold the Lakers, and all that money came from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So this whole group here, yep, they own their own tequila brand, one that I'll never support, by the way. But this is the problem. They formed, think about this, they formed this group in 2016, 10 years ago. This was a great idea. We're going to start our own tequila brand. And then when it comes down to it, you sold your team, you just bought the Celtics. I wonder how all these deals worked out. And then this guy's the oddball with Kohl's, but you'll find out when Kohl's goes bankrupt via private equity. But either way, NBA teams all forming together, the owners, to start up a liquor brand for a couple $1 million. That doesn't make sense when they're all billionaires. But yet these billionaires are losing their teams. They took over your team. They paid too much for their team. And you, I still got my eyes on you, Wes. All right, you guys have fun with it. I know exactly what's going down. What's going down? The NBA is bought and paid for by private equity. That's the truth. Do your homework. Peace.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the GOAT James Kingdom channel and a special GJK Sports Report, as we have some exclusive news and information for you guys about the Lakers being sold. So first off, we want to say peace and blessings to everybody who's watching us. This is a special stream for our members only. These are the only people who can comment. You want to become a member of the channel. The link is available to you there in the show chat. Shout out to Silent Presence for becoming a new GOAT James Kingdom member. Appreciate the love and support.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
And obviously, we see some other GJK members already in the building. Peace and blessings to Wayne Gant. Peace and blessings, Najee. Peace and blessings, Asante. Again, Najee's in the building. Najee's all over the place. Shout out to you, brother. But again, we are here with a special GJK Reports. We're here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. I bring to you something exclusive that most people are not talking about, that's breaking NBA news. And you just officially heard a gentleman speak about how the Lakers, right, have sold their team, which we all know about that. But this idea that Jeanie Buss has been business partners with Michael Jordan and other NBA players and other ventures throughout these years. And we got to be honest. We really got to be honest here in this situation when we're talking about this particular, this particular thing, because I've always said this to myself, that Jeanie Buss never wanted LeBron James to win a fifth ring. And I was always wondering why they would do the things that they were doing as a front office, the way they were running the Lakers the last 5 to 6 years, why they broke up the 2020 team, the bubble team. Why they went and got Westbrook? Why would you get rid of a Caruso? Why would you get rid of a Kuzma? Why would you get rid of a KCP? Why would you do all of these things if you're trying to win a championship? You're trying to do all these things. That's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. She's been trying to stay face for a very long time. The Lakers franchise has been in the Buss family for, we all know now, since the early 80s, since 1979, I believe, is when he purchased the team. So we're talking about over 40 years of owning this team. She was a college brat when her father bought the team. You don't sell your team for no reason. You don't sell the majority stake of a sports franchise for no reason. There is a reason why you're doing this. And come to find out that Jeanie Buss has been mingling with Michael Jordan lets me know that she's a zesty Jeffrey. She's a zesty Jeffrey. And they have been fleecing LeBron James and Klutch Sports in the last 5 years, trying to sabotage the last 5 years of his career by just letting him play with the Lakers, bringing revenue to the Lakers, bringing high value to the Lakers, so that she could eventually sell the Lakers and turn her back on LeBron James and the whole Laker fan base. And the reason for doing all of this is because she's out here making investments and mingling with guys like Michael Jordan and losing all kind of money for the company and not having anything to fall back on but her assets as a Laker owner, which now she has to sell because she can't continue to live her lifestyle and do all the right things. So now the Lakers are a sole team. She sells her team because she's out here mingling with Michael Jordan and all these other owners who are being fleeced from private equity and investors who's trying to find their way into sports. We already know private equity investors are, you find them. They're in real estate. They're all over the place. They purchase stuff all the time. They rack up companies like nothing. We're talking about companies worth trillions of dollars here, trying to find their way into the sports industry. And they're increasingly getting in there when you got owners like Jordan having to sell his team to a guy who's getting his money from a private equity fund. When the guy who buys the Boston Celtics full outright is also getting his money from a private equity fund to do that. When Jeanie Buss is selling her team to a guy who's also getting his money from a private equity fund. Do you see the correlation that's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? And what Jeanie Buss tried to do was, I guess, hold on to the team as long as she could. And all she did was put a good enough product to make people believe that they were going to win. They never put a real championship product out there. And the Lakers are not interested in a championship. They really are not. They really are not. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. This is the most craziest thing I've ever seen so far this whole offseason. Forget all the trades and all the other nonsense, free agency. The fact that the Lakers are being sold and the Celtics are both being sold at the same time is alarming. And nobody wants to talk about this. Well, there was one individual that decided to talk about this. Let's let him break it down because he definitely wanted to talk about this. RJ broke it down.
Lakers just sold. Charlotte just sold. Dallas just sold. Milwaukee just sold. Portland just went up for sale. All in the last 3 to 5 years. The NBA is changing. There's owners that are getting out. We can look at this money and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. But it's why are all of them selling right now? Come on now. Let's not just be oh, owner got 10 billion. Celtics won a championship, put their team up for sale. The league is changing. The league is changing. And I the league don't like to talk about it. But it's never good even when the numbers are astronomical at $10 billion, you don't want a bunch of your assets up for sale at the exact same time.
Exactly. So now you got all these teams, and mind you, Portland, like he said, is trying to sell. It's so true. All of these teams are selling, and now we all know why these teams are selling, right? Because now being a billionaire is no longer the top dog in today's economy. See, 20 years ago, you was a billionaire. You were running things. You were the top of the top. Now you have these big equity firms, these big companies who are worth trillions of dollars, who are not individuals. They're not run by families. They're run by board of execs. And all they do is chop, 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 eat, eat, eat. They're like Pac-Man in the Pac-Man game. And when they see an industry like the NBA or sports in general, they're going right into it because another thing is they're into gambling. These are the same people that fund casinos. These are the same people that fund real estate ventures all the time. So all of these private equity venture companies are trying to find their way into sports. Now, the thing is that in sports, you're not allowed to be a private equity firm as a majority stakes. But if you got somebody associated with you or affiliated with you or getting a loan from you to do that, it's basically you got them in your pocket. So all of these owners are being fleeced out of their teams, and Jeanie Buss was a part of it from the jump. Behind everybody's back, especially LeBron James and Klutch Sports, who didn't expect to see the Lakers being sold. That's why when LeBron James just recently re-signed, right? They talked about it right here. LeBron James recently just re-signed with the Lakers or opted into his contract. Come to find out that LeBron James thinks that the Lakers ain't interested in winning. They're trying to rebuild, which is what happens when you change ownership. You don't know what's going to happen. It's a question mark for the Lakers. So they're saying LeBron James might not even really be a Laker, that he just opted into the contract, but he really wants to win a championship. So let's let Shams break that down for us so that we can understand that a little bit better.
5 p.m. today, the deadline for players or teams to exercise options. One of those players with the decision to make is LeBron James. What more can you tell us?
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. So what we do know is he will be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure whether he's going to play one more season or he has multiple years left. But I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season. And he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. And my understanding is James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future. And Rich Paul told me this morning, the Klutch Sports CEO, that the Lakers have been true partners of his and LeBron James for 8 seasons while he's been there. But as we see right there, he also told me the franchise is going to do what's best for them. They understand that they have to do what's best for the long term. And this adds an interesting wrinkle here in free agency. LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's think about that. They are out here fleecing LeBron James and Klutch Sports. Because like he said, we've been partners. So there's no way LeBron James is not knowing of this. That out of nowhere you sell the franchise, you sell the Laker franchise. The Buss family are not going to be the majority owners of the Lakers franchise. That's been the whole case my whole life. I'm 44 years old. So now we have to deal with this situation. So with that being said, it's obviously that Jeanie Buss fleeced LeBron James because she knew that she was in trouble financially and she could not keep the Lakers in a competitive nature, because you don't give it to Kyle Kuzma and Caruso and KCP to bring in these old veteran guys that you know you don't have to have long contracts with or long-term deals with or long-term commitment to, and fluff it up to make it seem like you're trying to win championships, knowing you're really not trying to do that. You break up a team that won you a championship. You keep that going because in reality her money was the Lakers. She can't operate the Lakers under the red and still be living her lavish life, because she's out here making venture moves and making venture deals with other billionaires and losing money and leveraging their own stakes in their franchises to make these moves. So now you're forced to sell your team, just like Jordan was forced to sell your team, and just like all of these owners that are getting out, because what they're seeing is that we're no longer big dogs in the business anymore. We can no longer hold on to these franchises. The economy has changed. The inflation has also hit the big dogs, the richest of the richest, because now you have these private equity firms who have more money than any individual person could bring up or any company could bring up, because they're bigger than that. They're eating up companies. These people are worth trillions. You heard people speak about companies like Vanguard and BlackRock. These are big investment firm companies, equity firms, private equity firms that create, trust me, that create businesses and avenues. So these guys have no choice but to sell their stakes of their franchise so that they can stay in the billionaire range, because they're not making money nowhere else. And this is the sad case. So you having all of these owners now being fleeced out of their teams. The NBA got a new NBA deal. It's at its highest peak it's ever been in NBA history. So now that's why they want to get into it. Gambling is legal in most parts of the country and all across the world. So now you have the person who bought the Dallas Mavericks is into gambling. That's why they want to move the team to Dallas. I mean, from Dallas to the Vegas. So, if you get a team in Vegas, which is what LeBron's trying to do, which LeBron's doing the same thing, trying to get a private equity fund firm and a bunch of guys together to pool in some money so that they can all be owners of the team. But in reality, the hedge funds or the equity firm's going to have the biggest stake, but they can't really be majority owner. But they're going to be putting up. But I guess I don't know if they can't be majority owner by themselves, or if they can't be like majority owner, like they can't own 51%. Like if they can own 30%, but they can't own 51%. So if you got a private equity fund company that's willing to invest in buying a team, and they're willing to put up 30%. You find the other 70%, and now you have a team. You have an ownership, right? Because that's how it's going on right now. The Lakers are worth $10 billion, but Jeanie Buss doesn't own the $10 billion. And if you guys are confused with what I'm talking about, let me play the intro so you can understand this a little bit better. The Lakers have been fleecing the GOAT James and Klutch Sports for the past 7 years because Jeanie Buss has been making all kind of deals. And right now the NBA has owners running to sell their teams due to the fact that private equity firms are fleecing these teams. They're causing these owners to have to sell their team because they're making these owners sell. It's kind of like the mafia. This is crazy, but all legit stuff.
This was the beginning of the end of the Lakers, Boston Celtics, Michael Jordan, and, well, Milwaukee Bucks, right? So let's think about this. Milwaukee Bucks owner, this young man, Wes Edens, actually bought the team from Herb Cole. If you don't know about Coles and all that, it's all private equity owned and run. Michael Jordan, no different, made bets against private equity plays, which he actually got caught with his pants down, for lack of a better term, when it came to GameStop. Got margin called, had to sell his team to Gabe Plotkin, who actually lost $5 billion against GameStop. And they all come from the Atlanta Hawks, believe it or not, Tony Resler, this private equity. These two are actually married to each other. She's from investment firms and private equity. This young man owns the Boston Celtics. I'm rolling in my grave right now if I'm Kobe, if I'm Dr. Jerry Buss, because Jeanie Buss sold her team to private equity and Mark Walter. Mark Walter got his money from the Middle East. If you don't know, they just sold the Lakers, and all that money came from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So this whole group here, yep, they own their own tequila brand, one that I'll never support, by the way. But this is the problem. They formed, think about this, they formed this group in 2016, 10 years ago. This was a great idea. We're going to start our own tequila brand. And then when it comes down to it, you sold your team, you just bought the Celtics. I wonder how all these deals worked out. And then this guy's the oddball with Kohl's, but you'll find out when Kohl's goes bankrupt via private equity. But either way, NBA teams all forming together, the owners, to start up a liquor brand for a couple $1 million. That doesn't make sense when they're all billionaires. But yet these billionaires are losing their teams. They took over your team. They paid too much for their team. And I still got my eyes on you, Wes. All right, you guys have fun with it. I know exactly what's going down. What's going down? The NBA is bought and paid for by private equity. That's the truth. Do your homework. Peace.
So for those who don't understand that, because we know a lot of you Zesty Jeffries are not good with math, what the gentleman is explaining is that these billionaires who own NBA teams are getting involved with private equity firm investments, like Michael Jordan investing in GameStop, failing, which we all know because of Reddit, the stock actually skyrocketed because somebody got wind that a bunch of rich people and a bunch of billionaires were banking on the stock for GameStop falling. And they knew there was a lot of money to gain if we could get it to rise. And that's exactly what people did. And they changed the stock market. It changed everything. People went to Robinhood, started purchasing GameStop stocks, and it started rising. And they made a bunch of billionaires lose money, including Michael Jordan, who had invested in this. But the way Michael Jordan invests, just like most of these billionaires, it's not with liquidated cash. They use their assets, i.e. the Charlotte Hornet ownership or stakes in that. So what the guy is basically explaining is that because private equity firms are trying to find a way into the NBA or into sports industry, they are getting involved in private investments with these owners and forcing these owners in positions to where they probably just have to sell their team and or make their team available to be bought, which they already have the capital to purchase because they have the capital as a private equity firm. So we're talking about Jeanie Buss and Jordan, all these teams being sold because of the fact that they're actually doing outside business and making investments, because there are so many private investment firms out there that are also making investments. You want to make money. These guys are gamblers. You got to make money to win money. But what they've been doing, though, is risking their stakes in their ownership, because a lot of these guys, that's where the majority of their money is as a billionaire. So that's why now you're seeing the changing of the guards. You no longer can be an owner in today's NBA if the only thing you make money in is in the NBA. If that's the case, they're gonna weed you out one by one. Not the NBA's doing this. This is just business. This is just big business. This is just the way business works today. This is like the movie Wall Street. Greed over everything, baby. Greed is good, right? So they're like I said, they're chopping up like Pac-Man. And Jeanie Buss knew of all of this while she was out here telling LeBron James that she wants to win championships and smoozing and swooching this man, giving him that extra money, because knowing at the end of the day, I'm just going to sell the team. Picking up Bronny James, knowing he's going to sell jerseys. Everything that they did was to keep the Lakers franchise viable as far as their assets, as far as how much they will be worth and their value. She didn't try to win no championships because it costs to win championships. You're going to be in the red if you try to win championships. And it's not even guaranteed if you're going to go into the red and then you don't win championships, and you're already, like you said, she's already in debt. She's already in trouble. That's why she had to sell her stakes of her team to get out of this, so that she can still hold on to the wealth that her father built 40 years ago. But meanwhile, she did all of this under the guise of LeBron James. Never talked to them. Acted like they were partners, like they were doing this big thing for the Lakers. LeBron doesn't have a relationship with the new Lakers owners. He don't know what's going to happen. So that's why he opts into the deal, because he's going to make sure he's not going to negotiate with no other NBA team about how much they're going to pay him. I have a 1 year, $50 million deal. What I can negotiate with you is obviously you trading for me, right? And obviously restructuring my deal, and I'll give you another 2-3 years, because I think LeBron James wants to play another 2 or 3 years. I think the Lakers just opened up the door to give him an opportunity to play another 2-3 years. I don't think LeBron James is going to play with the Lakers. I think they're going to trade LeBron James before this season is over with, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, before this offseason is over with. LeBron James will not be a Laker by the time we get to October. That's going to be crazy. That shows you the changing of the guards of the NBA. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. The offseason's already been crazy. You see that the Boston Celtics are doing a fire sale. They're getting rid of everybody over there as well, because they just sold their team. We saw what Dallas did. They're rebuilding. They don't got to worry about all of that. I know they just paid Kyrie his extension. He re-signed his extension. But at the end of the day, Dallas is also rebuilding as well. So the NBA is going to be crazy next year. But the Lakers knew what they were doing. Jeanie Buss knew what she was doing. She didn't want LeBron James to get his 5th ring. So she sabotaged it. On top of all of that, she sabotaged it. Everything else. She sabotaged it, the whole thing. They could have kept KCP. They could have kept Kuzma. They could have kept all those guys, but you have to pay those guys extensions. You got to give those guys long-term deals. They're young in their prime. You can continue. You play with LeBron James 1-2 year player option deals, as much money as he brings into and as much as profit he brings in. That's why you get rid of Anthony Davis. I'm not going to pay Anthony Davis another $120 million on top of what I owe him. I think he has another 3 years left on his deal. So we bring in a Luka. Luka's not coming back. This could be an option as well. The last hoorah for this Lakers roster right here. Luka's on his last year. Reeves is on his last year. LeBron is on his last year. But I don't think LeBron James wants to play on a 1 year deal. So we have to see. I think LeBron's weighing all his options. I think he's weighing all his options like a smart man should. Like a good businessman LeBron James is. But it's clear as day, Jeanie Buss knew what she was getting herself into. And because she got herself into all of this stuff, especially when now, like I said, point clear and simple as plain, this woman's a Zesty Jeffrey. She's out here doing businesses with Michael Jordan. Everybody know Michael Jordan's reckless. He's not a good businessman. He only sells sneakers. Why are you dealing with a man who only sells sneakers? Jordan doesn't have no good businesses anywhere else. We all know what's happening with his with his motorcycle business. That didn't go too well. Again, a lot of Michael Jordan ventures do not do well. His cologne, a lot of things don't go well. His sneakers, without a doubt. Air Jordans, top class. That's fashion. That's not Jeanie Buss. And like the guy said, why are a bunch of billionaires coming together to scramble up a couple of $1 million to start a tequila brand? It's obvious they're in this together. They have investments together. They have ties and alliances together, which is fine because they're allowed to do that as business people. That's how business people do. They mingle. Just like we do here in GOAT James Kingdom with all other content creators. That's what we love to do here in GOAT James Kingdom. We love to separate, and make sure we show love to all of these guys. So, but again, that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. This is what has been going on right now. This is the reality of it. Jeanie Buss was out here getting fleeced for her team. And in the meanwhile, trying to save her team and trying to hold as much value to the Lakers as possible, she was using LeBron James and Klutch Sports to do it. And again, that's a wicked business move. Shout out to her. That is a wicked business move by her to do that. But this is what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. We give you guys exclusive content like this. I'm actually about to go live very shortly here with this live at 8 p.m. Eastern. So don't run nowhere. This is going to be open to the public. We're gonna discuss Shaquille O'Neal winning his championships with or without Kobe Bryant for a fact. You guys are going to stop disrespecting Shaquille O'Neal. That live will be coming 8 p.m. Eastern right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. So make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership because we're about to have some fun in a very short few. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you right with the words of what RJ said of how the NBA is changing their guards. And we're going to end this again, GJK Sports Report right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. I'm Johnny reporting live that Jeanie Buss tried to sabotage GOAT James's legacy, but he still was able to get the scoring record with that, winning in-season tournament, inaugural in-season tournament, plus the MVP. Not only that, go and represent the United States in a global settings as a Los Angeles Laker and win Olympic MVP. So she cannot destroy the greatness of LeBron James, just like any other Zesty Jeffrey can't. So she can go there and partner up with Michael Jordan now because now they got to figure out what they got to do now that they no longer own their teams because they were out here making silly business moves. But with that being said, I'm going to end tonight's program. And again, I'm going to catch y'all guys very shortly. And this is what RJ has to say about all of this.
Lakers just sold. Charlotte just sold. Dallas just sold. Milwaukee just sold. Portland just went up for sale. All in the last 3 to 5 years. The NBA is changing. There's owners that are getting out. We can look at this money and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. But it's why are all of them selling right now? Come on now. Let's not just be oh, owner got 10. Celtics won a championship, put their team up for sale. The league is changing. The league is changing. And I the league don't like to talk about it. But it's never good even when the numbers are astronomical at $10 billion, you don't want a bunch of your assets up for sale at the exact same time.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. Here in GOAT James Kingdom, we attack the GOAT debate head on, where we challenge all Michael Jordan fans and all LeBron detractors to who is the GOAT of basketball. You can catch us every Sunday noon Eastern Time, right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, for the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and A. Johnny. Also, we go live Friday nights with the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, where you catch special shows and content as a GOAT James Kingdom follower and subscriber. Also, check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership, where you can get exclusive content.
All you gotta do is say his name. His greatness puts all other goats to shame. Let me talk about it. I don't care what you think MJ would do, cause next to Bron he'll always be number 2. 50,000 points, leader in this game. It's hard not to glaze when naming all of his accolades. Some would even say he's the best of all time, and if you disagree then you done lost your goddamn mind. Ooh.